Tomb Raider, Marvel's Black Panther, and my top 10 favorite films of 2017, Star Wars The Last Jedi. 6 Marvel movies worse than Justice League. Blade Runner 2049, Stephen King's It. Harley Quinn and Batman. The Inhumans, Spider-Man Homecoming, The Foreigner. Thor Ragnarok, Punisher, the Netflix series. Favorite holiday films. The Killing Joke. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, I'm bringing you my review of Ready Player One. So Ready Player One follows Wade Watts, also known as Percival, as he navigates through the Oasis gaming system created by James Halliday. And the whole premise behind this is that James died a long time ago, but he ended up leaving 3 Easter eggs, or keys as they were, inside of the gaming system. And so began a contest to whomever found all 3 of these secret keys. Whoever finds all 3 of them will gain access to the Oasis and gain access to Halliday's wealth that he left behind. So there's definitely kind of a Willy Wonka vibe in this film, but honestly, guys, there's so much to be had in this, and it's one giant love letter that Steven Spielberg did to 70s, 80s, 90s gaming and pop culture. The 80s references, the songs, and even the old school Atari games and stuff that they talk about is just, it's awesome. And guys, there's a lot of fun in this film. It's not one of the greatest Steven Spielberg films that's ever been made, but there is definitely a lot of fun to be had, and I really enjoyed watching the film. It is based on a book that came out in 2011 or 2012, I believe. I did not have the pleasure of reading it, unfortunately. But what the film basically offers up is kind of a critique on the gaming and nerd culture, in addition to showing the bright side of it and how awesome it can be to kind of go to these new worlds and explore and kind of get away and live out your fantasies through video games and whatnot. But again, it takes a close look at kind of the harmful consequences of kind of being an introvert and not going out and actually being yourself and living life and kind of being shelled and kind of closed in and doing all this stuff. If I had to describe this movie, I would say that it's definitely a cross between The Matrix, Minority Report, Willy Wonka, and even The Goonies. But it's so much more than that. It does feel like you're actually in the game, and I didn't get to see this in 3D, but I feel like I would have had a hell of a time with it. And you know, guys, watching this movie, I felt myself just looking at it sometimes. I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm at a theme park ride at Universal or like some type of interactive thing. And you know, it just, I was in awe at some points because it was so cool looking. And you know, I thought that the visuals were great. Of course, it's 3D and everything like that, so it does kind of seem fake and, you know, disingenuous at times. But I mean, when you're dealing with movies on this scope and scale, no matter what it is, any type of fantasy movie, you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit because, guys, it's how it's going to be played out anyway. And you know what? This is technically how it would look because, I mean, in the gaming world, it is 3D, it is CGI, and, you know, it's kind of working itself into all this stuff, and it worked out perfectly, in my opinion. It's very inventive with some of the technology that's coming out with this, and definitely a play on the Oculus Rift and VR gaming, which is starting to have a big boom. And I love the fact that they ended up nodding and making notes to kind of the advertisements and almost like the microtransactions that you find in gaming nowadays, which just pisses me the hell off, especially with games like Battlefront 2, and the fact that you're getting games nowadays and they're not even 100% complete, or they're very lackluster and they have no material whatsoever until the Game of the Year edition, until the Super Deluxe Mega Edition with the Season Pass and this, you know. So I really like the fact that it took a shot at the gaming industry, looking at you, Xbox and PS4. And I would say the real moral of the story is don't let gaming or social media kind of take over your life. It's one thing to have surrogate-like experiences and really fake and pantomime actually living your life, but it's a totally different thing to actually get out there and really truly breathe in the air and take a moment to really stop and smell the roses and actually get something more out of life and actually something more organic. You know, you can't let these you know, gaming lifestyles kind of take over and kind of hinder you from actually being, you know, a fully functioning person in society, because it's not going to work out in the end, rather. And honestly, guys, I really appreciated that. And there's not many movies that are really tackling that nowadays. And I give credit to Steven Spielberg for actually bringing that stuff up because, you know, again, not many people are talking about it. And it's definitely something that's kind of plaguing our society now. I definitely think there are some legitimate critiques in here for sure, especially, you know, a little undertone about getting catfished when Percival, aka Wade Watts, is kind of falling for this avatar of a character, yet he doesn't know how they are in the real world. So again, this movie is kind of playing on some modern problems dealing with social media, gaming, and all that other stuff, which again, more kudos to this film. But overall, guys, I really enjoyed this film. It's definitely a fun ride if you're you know, above the age of 20, if you're above the age of 30, even 40, there is something to be had in this. There's a big section in this dedicated to an old classic 80s horror film, which I won't spoil, but this film's been out for a little bit, so, you know, definitely go and check it out. And I had a whole bunch of different Easter eggs that I really enjoyed seeing, whether it was from the characters that they brought in via gaming or anime. And of course, you know, it's a Spielberg movie, so they had to do some references to some of his other works, whether he produced it, directed it, or anything like that. And guys, it was so awesome. I thought that Ty Sheridan was great, and I enjoyed him as Cyclops and Scott Summers in the X-Men series, and I'm waiting patiently for Dark Phoenix to come out, of course. I enjoyed the other members of the cast, and it was one thing that I really thought was awesome and funny was how Mark Rylance was actually like this totally like nerded out gamer guy. He actually reminded me of Garth from Wayne's World, which I thought was totally awesome. Especially the part where he's just like, why can't we all go back, you know, like Bill and Ted, you know, just go all the way back. Like, just his accent was so unbelievable. But I found the performance is very good in here. It does get a little cheesy at times, and it does feel like you're watching one of those old classic 80s films, though, which I really think works to its benefit, too, though, because, I mean, guys, it knows what it is, and, you know, it's got kind of a typical plot where it's like these corporate overlords are kind of taking over, and, you know, yeah, we got to stick it to the man because we're the young guys, and we're the youth, and we're the future, and, you know, we know a little bit better than some of these guys who just can't see past their nose and can't see past the dollar and stuff. So bear that in mind. Upon other viewings and stuff like that, it might get a little bogged down because you've already seen the spectacle. You know what's going to happen next. But all in all, guys, definitely a great film. I highly recommend seeing it if you haven't seen it. And, you know, I would give this film 3.5 out of 5 stars for sure. Really enjoyed it. And, yeah, guys, definitely recommend it. Can't say enough about it. Alright guys, well that's all the time that I have for today. Like, comment, subscribe if you've seen the film. Let me know what you thought about it down below. Did you have fun with it? Did you hate it? Was it not quite enough for you? Anyway guys, leave it all below, and until next time, keep an eye out for my next video, and I'll see you guys around. Take care. Bye.